Chicago Bears Now is presented by MANSCAPED. You can get 20% off when you go to manscaped.com and plug in our brand new promo code for you Bears fans only. You see it right here? I'm trying to point to the right spot. Bears20 at manscaped.com. Get 20% off all their men's grooming products. And hey, you shave downstairs, you're going to be feeling good later, especially when your significant other gets home. Manscaped.com, promo code Bears20. It's mock draft time here on Chicago Bears Now, and it's our final Bears mock draft. The NFL draft, of course, starts on Thursday night, and the Bears' biggest needs include quarterback, offensive tackle, corner, wide receiver. There's a couple of other areas of need as well. Thanks to the Pro Football Network Simulator, they've been helping us out with mock drafts all season long, so we greatly appreciate them. That's who we use for our mock drafts. The Bears draft picks are as follow. Number 20 in round 1. 52 in round 2, and the number 83 overall pick. And then your day 3 picks, you got 1 5th-round pick, and you got 4 6th-round picks. Number 164, 204, 208, 221, 228. Final Bears mock draft 4.0, no trades. Just straight up picking for this final mock, so stay tuned. We're going to have a good time with it. We'll be live during the NFL draft at some point here on Chicago Bears Now. Subscribe, turn on notifications. That way, if you have your phone, you're like, oh, Bears Now is live, you can just click on it and boom, I'm going to be breaking down whatever the Bears are doing during the NFL draft. The link's on screen, youtube.com/BearsNow. Subscribe, turn on that notification bell. That way you don't miss it when we go live during the NFL draft. Round 1, pick 20 in our Bears Mock Draft 4.0, Christian Darrisaw, the offensive tackle out of Virginia Tech. They add a left tackle in round 1. You could slide Charles Leno to right tackle or cut him to clear some cap space, which is what I would prefer. You could even make him a post-June 1 release to save even more money. This is great value if Darrisaw falls to you at 20. There's been some talk. He took some plays off in college, and it shows up on film. I get that, but this guy is a mauler. I think this is a player who can be a good left tackle for a decade, and it makes your O-line a lot better, both in the short term and in the long term. Sure, you're still working out right tackle, but I think the rest of your offensive line looks something like this. Whitehair, Mustipher, and Daniels just mashing people in the center, and then we'll see at right tackle. Maybe Leno plays right tackle. Maybe it's Afeti. Maybe it's Alex Bars. Maybe you draft someone else. But you get Christian Darrisaw at left tackle. I'm feeling good about that position for the next 5 or 10 years. Some of the other players on the board when we picked at number 20, Rashad Bateman, a player I like a lot out of Minnesota. The Bama defensive tackle, Christian Barmore. Tevin Jenkins, a player we've talked about a lot. I opted to go left tackle this time around. I think it's more valuable. Najee Harris, the Bama running back, and then Jamin Davis, the Kentucky linebacker. But Christian Darrisaw, the pick out of Virginia Tech, experienced player, 35 career starts. He's got all the measurables, and all the top 5 quarterbacks were gone, the big 5. So didn't go quarterback, no trades in this mock. Christian Darrisaw, the pick at number 20 overall. Who is your dream target in round 1? Let me know what you guys want in the comments. It could be a trade-up guy. Doesn't have to be if you stick at 20. Dream player for the Bears in round 1. I think mine's Justin Fields, but a guy like Christian Darrisaw at 20, I'm down. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Round 2, pick number 52, Asante Samuel Jr., a player we actually haven't talked much about here on Bears Now. He's obviously the son of Asante Samuel, former NFL cornerback who had a great career. Aggressive player. He gets a little handsy at times. He'll probably draw some flags on some PIs, but he's feisty. He plays bigger than his size. I think this is one of those players who can be a really good nickel at the next level, who from time to time can play outside corner if you need to, you know, if a guy goes down for injury or whatever the case may be. In just 8 games last year, he opted out of the final couple of games to prepare for the draft at Florida State. 3 picks, had 6 pass breakups. Asante Samuel's a fun player. He's physical. He's feisty. He's the son of a former NFL cornerback. In round 2, I think the value is very, very good. You plug him in at nickel, you got Jalen Johnson on one side. We'll see on Trufant on the other side. Maybe that's more of a competition. You've brought back Artie Burns. You've got Kendall Vildor. Maybe Duke Shelley competes at one of these other spots as well. I think you need to add a corner at some point in this draft, whether it's an outside guy or a nickel. In this case, I opted for a nickel in Asante Samuel Jr. Other players on the board at number 52 overall, Dylan Radin's the tackle out of NDSU. Got one in round 1, so I went corner here. Ronnie Perkins, the Oklahoma edge rusher. Elijah Moore, the wide receiver out of Ole Miss. Trey Smith, a guard out of Tennessee. And then Jabril Cox, the LSU linebacker. But Asante Samuel, the pick I settle on. Productive player in college. I think he can play on special teams as well. I like this pick overall. He plays bigger than his size. And you have a day one starting nickelback, in my opinion. We told you today's show is sponsored by Manscaped, manscaped.com. Plug in that promo code BEARS20. The Lawnmower 3.0, which you see on screen, it's been a game changer for me. I used to hate trying to shave downstairs. I had to get burns. It would get tugged, and I was like, I give up. I quit. And Manscaped was like, just give us a chance. Give us an opportunity. So they sent me this product, and I was like, wow, this has been a game changer. And my wife noticed day one after I used this product. Look at this deal, by the way. Usually this thing is $70, 20% off, $55.99 when you plug in our promo code Bears20 at manscaped.com. That promo code for you Bears fans only. Don't you Packers fans be infiltrating us. Manscaped.com, Bears20. Get 20% off the Lawnmower 3.0 and all of their men's grooming products. Round 3 we go. Amari Rodgers, the wide receiver out of Clemson. We've talked about him a bit. Slot receiver, productive 4-year player in college. And to me, see ya, Anthony Miller, plugging Amari Rodgers in the slot. Like that's basically my thought process here when adding Amari Rodgers. You got Allen Robinson, who's at least going to be here this year. You got Darnell Mooney, who will continue to develop. I'd like to keep him on the outside. Plugging Amari Rodgers in the slot, and you're good to go at wide receiver. Sure, you need some depth. You got Marquise Goodwin. Maybe he can be your number 4 receiver. We'll have to wait and see on that front. But in 4 seasons, over 2,000 yards, sweet. And it's not like Clemson was lacking weapons there. He was one of many weapons there, and he was still very, very productive overall. 15 touchdowns for the Tigers as well. I think round 3, top 7,500 type of pick. He'll be a guy you plug in. He can catch 50 balls as a rookie. I think he'll be a very, very good pro and be a slot receiver for the next decade plus. Others on the board at number 83 overall, Javon Holland, and yes, one Kellen Mond was available. I had to stick to my brand. I did not draft him. Dylan Moses, the Alabama linebacker. Tommy Togiai, the defensive tackle out of Ohio State. And then Hunter Long, the Boston College tight end. And I'm sure you guys are in shambles that I haven't drafted a quarterback because I refuse to break my brand. But I'll let you guys answer this one. Should I hop on the Kellen Mond hype train? Type Y for yes. Type N for no. I can't do it. I won't do it, which means the Bears are probably going to draft him and we'll be live talking about it. Get your votes in. Y for yes, N for no. Should I hop on the Mond hype train? Day 3 picks here. No 4th-round picks, so we'll jump to round 5. Jonathan Marshall, the defensive tackle out of Arkansas. Good athlete. Average production in college. Wasn't that great, but tested well at his pro day, which is something to keep in mind, especially when you get to these day 3 picks. You get some NFL coaching in this kid. Maybe he can be a rotation defensive tackle, defensive end type of player, I should say. 6'3", just over 300. He could, plug in that Akeem Hicks defensive end role maybe on rotation. Don't mind the value here. Tested well, like I said, has good measurables, but the production in college was just okay overall. So round 5, I'm okay with it. I hope you guys are okay with our NFL draft coverage that we continue to pump out on Chat Sports. Our main channel is youtube.com/chatsportstv. We'll be live Thursday, Friday, Saturday, every single pick, breaking them down. We'll do grades for the Bears and all other teams as well. youtube.com/chatsportstv. Join our live coverage. You don't want to miss any of it on Chat Sports. We'll be live on Bears Now from time to time, but you want to catch every single pick? That's the link to go, youtube.com/chatsportstv. Round 6, we got 4 of these, so we'll kind of jog through them here. Thomas Graham Jr., great last name, decent size as well. Opted out in 2020, which was probably a bad move on his part. Tom Downey, I asked him, I was like, hey, what do you think of Thomas Graham Jr.? He's got a 4th-round grade on him. So round 6, I like the value here. Had 2 picks in the 2019 season, and I think 3 the year before, so he's been a guy that's been able to find the football. 10 pass breakups, had 18 in 2018, so a good coverage player for the Oregon Ducks. Not the best athlete, just 5'11", but could he eventually be a CB2 type? Maybe. He gets into training camp, he competes, and you see what happens there. You probably groom him for a year or 2, and he's probably going to have to give you a little bit of something on special teams. But again, we're in round 6, so it's all about value at this point in the draft. Riley Coles, another 6th-round pick, number 208 overall, initially was an Alabama commit. They asked him to gray shirt, which basically is almost like a double red shirt. They wanted him to put on some weight and do some other things. He opted to go to South Alabama instead and had 3 straight years of left knee injuries from 2016 to 18. But the past 2 years he has stayed healthy and he's been pretty productive overall for South Alabama. Obviously a smaller conference, not very good in coverage, but could he be a short yardage, run-stopping guy that can play on special teams? Yeah, I think so, and that's decent value on day 3. Oh, Felipe Franks, you guys thought I wouldn't draft a quarterback. Tom Downey may think he's a tight end, but how many tight ends can throw the ball 80 yards? Not many. Felipe Franks had his best season in college at Arkansas. Now, let's be clear. If you draft Felipe Franks, you haven't solved quarterback. But is he an intriguing round 6 kind of project quarterback who's 6'6", who can throw the ball 75 yards? Yeah, this guy can spin it. His tape is all over the place, and at the Senior Bowl, he was firing balls into triple coverage. I don't know if he can read a defense, but in the 6th round, he can launch the ball. He can really spin it. He ran like a 4.5 40 or 4.6 or something at his pro day at 6'6", 230 pounds, so I don't know. Maybe he's got some value in some other role also. I'm digging deep here, guys. I had to get a quarterback on day 3. Developmental guy behind Andy Dalton and or Nick Foles. Obviously, I would prefer to get a guy on day 1, but I didn't do trades in this mock draft, so I settled for a project on day 3. Name a quarterback the Bears should draft. Probably not Felipe Franks, but I just made my sales pitch on him. Let me know. Name a quarterback you guys want the Bears to draft. Round 1, round 2. I don't care what value it is. Just name a quarterback. Last pick here, Chris Rump II, who, by the way, is the son of new Bears defensive line coach Chris Rump, so this kind of makes sense, right? Bring him on board and he can develop. Productive player at Duke, not the best athlete, did have 8 sacks last year, though, so you like to see that in a Power 5 conference. I think he could be a rotation type of pass rusher as an outside linebacker in this 3-4 scheme. He kind of fits that size, 6'4", 235. He's a coach's son, like I said, which typically ends up not being a bad thing, normally is a good thing, so hey, it's round 6. Come on. Let's get a guy in here who can grind and fight for a roster spot, and I think Chris Rump II fits those type of molds. So there you have it. Final mock draft 4.0 is in the books. A, B, C, D, or F. Go ahead and hand me a grade. Guys, I want a quarterback, but hey, I'm not going to – I traded up for Fields last time. Thought I would just stay at the current picks and do my final mock that way. A, B, C, D, or F. Go ahead and type your grades. And if you're like, oh, Harrison, I don't remember the early picks, well, here you go. Christian Darrisaw, round 1, number 20 overall, a left tackle. And by the way, you guys are going to scoff at me for not getting a quarterback early. This mock draft is about as good as you can do, in my opinion, to maximize having a guy like Andy Dalton at quarterback. You get a left tackle. You get Amari Rodgers in round 3. You get better on defense with Asante Samuel in the 2nd round. And then you add some intriguing day 3 guys, including a guy like Felipe Franks at the quarterback position. Grade my mock draft A, B, C, D, or F, and we'll get some shout-outs as well.